So I'm finally out of my reading slump. Yay! By the time this video goes up, my TBR jar video should have been posted by now. And that was a fantastic way to get me out of my reading slump. I managed to read 3 or 4 books, like back to back within 3 days, I think. And that was really, really nice to feel accomplished, that I had read. A lot of it was middle grade, but whatever. It was nice. And so it's really put me in the mood to do a readathon. And yay, it's November, and there are actually 4 readathons that I would love to participate in this month. And a bunch of them overlap, so I'm actually kind of just mixing them together, and I'm not sure if that's technically allowed, but I do what I want. So let's just get into the readathons that I want to do this month. Okay, the first one is Nonfiction November, which is a very relaxed readathon where you just basically read more nonfiction than you are used to. There are 4 challenges, which I am not specifically going to be participating in, but they are: choose a new nonfiction book, a controversial nonfiction book, an important nonfiction book, and a fascinating nonfiction book. And this runs the entire month of November, and I am excited because I've been really, really wanting to read some nonfiction. So I went to the library and I picked up a lot of books, which actually is fantastic because the second readathon I want to do is between November 7th and the 14th, and that is the BorrowAThon, which you read library books. So see what I'm saying? They go hand in hand. I'm just going to run through and show you what I hope to read. Obviously, I probably won't get to all of these. I'm probably going to read the first few chapters in all of them and decide which ones I want to continue on. This is the first one, and I've already started this one. I am currently 35 pages into this one. This is Animal Vegetable Miracle, A Year of Food Life by Barbara Kingsolver. And this is about a family who moves from the desert, from Arizona, I think, into a much greener state. And they move to 100 acres and try and farm their own food and start eating locally, and their experience with that. And that sounds fascinating. The next one I got is The Girl with No Name, The Incredible Story of a Child Raised by Monkeys by Marina Chapman. And essentially that's what it is. It's about this young girl who gets lost in the woods when she's very young, like 2 or 3 years old, and she stumbles upon a group of monkeys and she mimics what they're doing, and she's able to survive long enough by doing what the monkeys are doing, and she becomes completely feral. And when she's like 6 or 7, she's found, and I think humans try and take care of her and bring her back into civilization and the struggles that she goes through. And I'm very excited to pick this up. I think this is going to be amazing. Another one I'm really excited to read, and I saw this, Lala just recently read this. I forget her channel name, but I will put it right here. This is Brain on Fire, My Month of Madness by Suzanne Collin. And this sounds kind of hard to read, but awesome. And this is about one woman's mental breakdown, I suppose. And I'm intrigued to get into that. I'm not entirely sure if I will get into this one this month, because it's a chunker of a novel and it seems like very dense subject matter, but I do want to read it eventually. This is Dark Money, The Hidden History of the Billionaires Behind the Rise of the Radical Right by Jane Mayer. And it basically is what it says. It's following the money and the money in politics and how it's shaped our political system, which is a huge topic that a lot of people should be talking about right now. Another one that I want to get to is The World Without Us by Alan Wiseman. And this goes through and talks about what if all the humans just disappeared one day, how the world would react, I guess. How Earth and the plants and the animals and everything would react a week without humans, a month without humans, into years and centuries without humans. And this sounds absolutely fascinating. And I'm one of those people who honestly believe that humans are parasites, and I am one, so I obviously don't want us to just up and disappear one day, but I do think that we're absolutely no good for this planet, and we need to learn how to live in space so we can get the heck off this planet before we kill it. So it's very fascinating to me, and I really hope to get to that one. The next one I grabbed is Some We Love, Some We Hate, Some We Eat, Why It's So Hard to Think Straight About Animals by Hal Herzog. And I believe this is a book about veganism, I believe, and it's talking about animal rights and things like that. The next one I have is Nothing to Envy, Ordinary Lives in North Korea by Barbara Demick. And this sounds absolutely fascinating. And it just follows the lives of 6 North Koreans over 15 years. And it sounds terrifying and scary and definitely important. I want to get to this one so badly. And even if I don't get to it this month, it's definitely on my TBR, along with a bunch of other Richard Dawkins books. This is The Greatest Show on Earth, The Evidence for Evolution. And I honestly don't know exactly what it's about, because I feel like this one and The God Delusion, and he has a few other really well-known novels, basically all talk about similarly things, evolution and the mysteries of life, and how we should be thinking about those in a critical, scientific way instead of just, relying on religion for our answers, because they obviously don't give us the answers that we need, So that's definitely, I guess, could be controversial, but important. The next one I grabbed is Beyond Words, What Animals Think and Feel by Carl Safina. I mean, it looks all cute and touchy-feely, but it has a lot of science behind it. And I am intrigued to get into that. And I have 2 more. The first being Geisha, A Life by Mineko Iwasaki. So I read Memoirs of a Geisha a few years ago, which is a fictionalized, I think it's fiction, story about a geisha, and this is an actual memoir, and I hear it is very good, and I guess I'm just kind of assuming that it's going to be similar in that vein, but I really liked Memoirs of a Geisha, so I feel like that would be interesting. And the last one, I am very excited. This is a very small book, but it is very intriguing to me. This is Tribe on Homecoming and Belonging by Sebastian, I think that's Junger. And this looks at veterans who have served in active duty, and they're coming back to integrate back into society. And it looks obviously at PTSD and things like that, but it also looks at how when humans are put into small groups where you are forced to, or not forced, but you rely so heavily on your fellow teammates, your fellow squad mates, you live and die together, basically. Like, that is the mindset, and you get into this tribal, like, native, basic, like very primal headspace. And if you live there for a couple of years, and then to be put back into society, into a very individualistic, centered society, and to try and reintegrate is a very difficult process. And I am just absolutely fascinated with the science and psychology behind this. And this is a very short book. I definitely foresee myself, it's 150 pages. I'm definitely going to be reading this month. And so that is a ton of nonfiction, but I tend to, if I don't love something within the first 50 pages, I generally put it down. So I got lots of different options because I do want to read a lot of nonfiction this month for Nonfiction November. And the BorrowAthon, all of those are from the library, so they all count. The other two readathons I am going to be doing is the Readathon, which is from the 6th through the 13th. And there are, I think, 5 challenges for that. And then at the end of the month, there is tometopple, which goes from November 18th to December 1st. And tometopple is one that both Erin and I are going to be doing together. So we will do our own separate video talking about our TBR and our progress with that. But real quick for the Readathon, this is a readathon, which basically it just gives you the excuse to reread books that you really want to reread, but feel like you haven't had the time for. The challenges are reread a childhood favorite, reread a book you gave 5 stars, reread a book you want to give a second chance, reread a book from a series, and read 3 books. I think everyone's going to be reading Harry Potter, but I've been trying to do my reread this year, and I am on the Goblet of Fire, which is like one of the biggest ones. And so, not sure how much progress I will make in this, but that is my intention. And then, reread a book you gave 5 stars to. And that is going to be Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. And I absolutely love this series. This is one of my favorite series of all time, but I have not reread it yet. So, I'm really hoping it withstands the reread, because this is a fantastic anti-hero whom I absolutely adore. This is also part of a series. I think all of these are. And then this is, I think this also qualifies for all 3. Childhood favorite, 5-star, and part of a series. And this is book 1 in the Song of the Lioness Quartet. And this is Alana, the First Adventure by Tamara Pierce. And I just bought these and they're absolutely stunning. And I haven't read them in so long. I'm so excited to get back into the world of Tortall. So those are the books that I want to read for Readathon. Also, I forgot to mention that for BorrowAthon, which is from the 7th to the 14th, I also really hope to get to this beauty. This is Meg, Primal Waters by Steve Alton. And this is book 3. I did not finish book 2, but I'm really hoping that this one gets back to more of the roots of the first one and doesn't try and put another murder mystery into the middle of it. But honestly, I haven't read the synopsis. I'm just going to jump in and hope I like it. And that is way too many books for me to get through this month, but I am very hopeful because I am out of my reading slump and ready to do it. And then tometopple is at the end of the month, and that is where you read books over 500 pages. I am going to be focusing on one single huge, really big book. So that is my plan for November. And if ever I get into a funk, I'm just going to go right back to my TBR jar because that really, really helped me. So those are my plans, and I hope it works out. I will keep you updated. I plan to do some vlogs for these readathons, and I guess you'll get a whole bunch of video compilations at the end of the month. So stay tuned for those.